All right. Hello, everyone. Of course, you know me. This is Marcella Silva, the certified land banking specialist with Valor Real Estate Services. And I've been in the land business since 2008 when I became an investor myself. And it's very interesting how this business has shifted and changed over the years. So that leads me to my next question. What do AI, electric vehicles, batteries, and Amazon have in common? I'll let you think about that. Here's a little hint. It's a four-letter dirty word, pun intended. DIRT, of course. Land. I am talking about land after all, and land is needed for everything, including things like artificial intelligence. Now you're probably thinking, how the heck does that correlate? So, just to take a step back, when it comes to investing in land correctly, you have to understand the economics behind what's going on. If we look at the World Economic Forum, at the high growth sectors in the future of jobs, the top three are tech roles, especially in AI and robotics, green energy, renewable energy specifically, and e-commerce and logistics. High growth sectors. Now, it's very interesting how this correlates directly with land consumption. Talking about artificial intelligence, we all hear about it every single day. It's like one of those things, use it or you're going to be left behind. Everyone's doing it. A lot coming out about AI. It feels like it's taking over everything. What they don't talk about is the massive appetite, voracious appetite that AI has for electricity. Because after all, our computers, our cell phones are worthless pieces of junk without electricity behind it. According to this particular study, it says it costs 30 times more energy to do an AI search versus just a regular Google search. So consider that next time you use AI, and that's because of all of the data centers and the cooling and everything that goes on behind the machines that are running AI. According to this search or this study, by the year 2026, global data centers energy demand will equal that of the entire country of Japan. Just let that sink in for a minute. That's a lot of energy. By the year 2030, they're estimating that AI will gobble up more power domestically, so in the entire United States, than all of the households combined. All households in the US equal the same amount of energy as AI. Mind blowing. Here's another study from January 2023 to November 2024. This is how much energy data centers has consumed in this time frame. That's 92 gigawatts of energy, and it's only going to continue to grow, by the way. How much is 92 gigawatts of energy? That's enough energy to power about 20 million homes. Mind blowing. In a matter of not a very long time period, just a little less than 2 years. So they're saying that the next industrial revolution is upon us, and that is the rapid growth and adoption of artificial intelligence, which is driving demand for data centers, and a new era of electrification intelligence, which is the combination of clean electricity and artificial intelligence, is coming upon us. And data centers are owned by companies like Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Google, Apple, and all of them are big subscribers to solar power to offset their electricity use. As a matter of fact, Meta, Google, those guys have their own goals, company-wide goals to go net zero, meaning that all of their energy is coming from clean energy sources by the years 2030 and 2040, respectively. Apple is also on there. I think they're at 2030. So that brings us to where land comes into the equation. You need massive amounts of land, as you can see in this picture. This is actually a picture of land that our investors used to own. And now a solar project is sitting on top of it that Google, this is big money. This is the new age oil well. Clean tech investments are expected to hit $670 billion in 2025, with solar leading the charge, as you can see by this particular graph here on the screen. Solar is far outpacing any other type of new clean energy. As a matter of fact, investments in solar power development are beating investments in all other generation technologies combined. So, including fossil fuels, including all the other wind and nuclear, all the things combined don't even add up to how much money is going into solar projects. And the reason why this is because it's simple, it's scalable, it's easy to install, and it is the cheapest form of electricity in history. It is also a technology. And if you're familiar with Moore's Law, over time, the technology just continually gets cheaper and cheaper versus old school technologies like fossil fuels. You have to extract that from the ground. There's no improving the oil that's in the ground and the extraction cost of that. It's actually getting more and more expensive over time, especially as there's less and less of it available. According to the International Energy Agency, in 2025, renewables surpass coal to become the largest source of electricity generation, and that happened in March of 2025. So, in addition to these mega companies that are going green, there are also governments across the globe going green, including California, which they passed Senate Bill 100 in 2018 that says by the year 2045, 100% of California's energy must come from clean energy sources by the year 2045. Then to add on top of everything that is consuming electricity beyond just the AI, artificial intelligence, as well as robotics, which I didn't even really get into, that's a huge growth area, is electric vehicles. According to Cox Automotive, 1 in 4 vehicles sold in 2025 will be electrified, compared to like 2020, 1 in 25 cars sold was electric. Now it's 1 in 4. You can see how rapid this is growing, and this is happening because of government mandates. This is happening because of car companies moving away from electric or moving away from fossil fuel, gas burning cars to electric vehicles. As a matter of fact, California just hit a huge milestone. Just in March, they announced that there are more electric vehicle chargers in the state than there are gas nozzles. As of 2024, within every 50 miles, they have an electric vehicle charger. So this is something that's happening very, very quickly. The question is, where is all the energy coming from to make this happen? Again, all of these cars, all of these toys, all of these things we love are worthless without electricity. Just to give you an idea of how much energy is consumed, one little Nissan Leaf, 2017 Nissan Leaf requires the same amount of energy as an entire home. 2017 Nissan Leaf is probably the guy barely going the speed limit. You're honking at him on the freeway because he's going too slow. Versus like a Tesla, I'm sure you've seen these on the car in our area. These guys are very fast. This is how much energy they can require. You know, maybe 3 times the amount of energy as a home. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of energy. Surprisingly, electric vehicles use way less energy than gas-powered cars. And as a matter of fact, an electric vehicle that is charged using green energy chops off 77% of the energy needs of driving compared to a gas-powered car. So it's a lot less energy, and it's much more efficient, and it's much cleaner for the environment. And then to add on to the electrification of transportation is the movement of our goods, consumer goods. We live in a consumer country. We are all about buying stuff on Amazon. And by the way, Amazon, they committed to going green. They're changing out their truck fleets to green energy net zero vehicles. And California has also been spending billions of dollars putting in the West Coast Electric Highway so that they can power these trucks with electricity, specifically for green energy. And then add on top of that, Amazon needs land itself because of the massive buildings, the massive footprint that they have. For every $1 billion in online sales, that requires about 1.25 million square feet of warehouse space. So here's an example of a property that Rick and I purchased, bought it for $92,000. This is what it looked like when we bought it. The property is right here, that little yellow dot. And today, this is what the area looks like. So before, after, you can see the amount of growth that's happening, all mainly because of e-retailing. And now our property is worth about 2.3 million in that time frame, which was about 10 years. Very rapid growth there. And then adding on top of all of that is batteries. It's no longer those AA batteries. Now we're looking at massive battery energy storage systems that can basically power us at night. And it also creates a resilient decentralized energy system by having these batteries. Did you know, by the way, that the Super Bowl was 100% fueled by battery energy storage, and all of that energy came from solar energy? So it's happening. We're using it. Here's a picture of a massive battery energy storage facility in the area where we invest, where I had an investor who bought a property for $150,000 and is sitting on an offer of 1.5 million on her property. Here's another investor I have who's making money because of this green energy revolution. She bought 10 acres for 75,000, and now she's getting 6,000 per acre per year, which works out to a little over 80% annual return because there's also an interest rate for 35 years. So over that time period, she'll have made over $3.6 million on a $75,000 investment. Welcome to the greatest land rush in California's history, the greatest shift of wealth in the history of the world. And John D. Rockefeller, he was all about oil. And he said the major fortunes in America have been made in land. And now we have the opportunity to own the new age oil well. By the way, did you know that John D. Rockefeller, if he was alive today, he would be the richest man in America, in the world. And his combined wealth is more than Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg combined. He had so much more that you'd have to add another $126 billion on top of that, all because of oil for energy. So we are investing in the #1 location in not just California, but the entire United States, if not the world, for these projects because of the environment, the land, the infrastructure that's all there. Already over 200 square miles of land has been consumed in that area. So if you're familiar with Walnut Creek, California, Walnut Creek is about 19.7 square miles total. That's 10 times Walnut Creek's built out in a 13-year period. Huge land rush. There's Walnut Creek before and after. So this is the opportunity that is available to our investors. And with that, I'm going to end the presentation. Thank you, guys.